When someone in the armed forces is killed, their whole family is affected. Often children, of course, who have to cope with grief, cope with lives changed by war, even though they themselves haven't left home. A documentary called Toy Soldiers explores how they cope and what can be done to help. It's being shown at 5:45 tonight on CBBC. The film was actually made in 2010 and it has been shown in schools around the country. Aidan O'Donnell is one of the central figures in that film. His dad was Gary O'Donnell, who was killed when Aidan was just 8. Aidan is 13 now, and he joins us from our Coventry studio, along with his mum, Tony. Hello, good morning to you both.
Hi.
Morning.
Hello there. Aidan, tell us about your dad. What do you remember about him? What do you remember about the times when he did come home?
I remember he always used to get his guitar out and always sing.
Do you, when he came home, tell us about the sense of occasion that there was and what you did?
It was, normally the whole sort of family would come round and sort of welcome him home.
And when you had the news that he had died, what did it do to your life? I mean, you're older now, but tell us about what you remember of that time and what it did to you.
Well, it certainly made me very upset, and it sort of took a chunk out of my heart, and it's never really sort of been filled.
And you were worried too about your younger brother, weren't you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he wouldn't get the chance to meet my dad and have all the fun that I did with him.
Aidan, when people talk to you at that time and when they talk to you now, how can they be helpful? I mean, is talking about him helpful? Is people wanting to ask you about him? Is that helpful? What is it that helps and what is it that doesn't help?
Well, I mean, certainly people talking to you, it can help because it shows that they care for you and they want to make sure you're okay.
And sometimes some people will find it terribly difficult to talk to you about it. Is that wrong? You're saying it's good to talk and to be open?
Yeah, it is good to talk and be open, but sometimes people won't really understand what you're going through unless they've been through it themselves.
How do you remember your dad now? I mean, what part does he still play in your life?
He played the hero in my life.
And he still does?
Yeah.
Aidan, thank you very much for talking to us, and Tony O'Donnell as well, who was there as moral support. Thank you so much for both of you being there. John Walsh is actually the director of Toy Stories, this film, and is here in our studio. And listening to him, oh goodness, he's brave as his father. And there is a message, isn't there, that comes out of this film, a message that you want to be more widely heard.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, Aidan touched on it there, childhood grief, losing a parent is one of children's biggest fears. And in Aidan's case, he's mixing at school with other children who perhaps don't have a parent in the armed forces, but perhaps do have a parent that they've lost. So childhood bereavement is an issue that, up until this film really, Children's BBC hadn't really managed to get a handle on. So we had to make sure that it was not only safe for the children watching, but also safe for children like Aidan who were taking part. Because, of course, discussing what he would normally discuss with a child psychologist, but to the nation, you have to be very careful.
And are there particular issues that children who are bereaved as a result of war face that other children maybe don't?
Absolutely, because of course, if your parent died on an oil rig or during some industrial accident, then there's kind of a context, a social context you can put that around. But of course, if your parent's gone off to war and is fighting on behalf of the country, it's quite a divisive issue. So of course, our concern filming with someone like Aidan was that we didn't expose him to any sort of bullying by members of the public or bystanders in the streets. So the aftercare of Aidan was a big part of